Hi everyone, it's Blasky P here from Melbourne, Australia in lockdown and curfew. That's right, but don't worry. Coming in from Arizona, New Mexico. It's New Mexico, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Silver City.
Fantastic. You are watching Gemstars. She's my kind of girl. She's my kind of girl. Soon you'll be close to me, 'cause you mean the most to me. You're my kind of girl. Yes, you're my kind of girl. That's right, we've got a very special guest coming on the show right now. It's Paul Marshall. How are you, Paul?
I'm great. How are you, Plastic?
I'm doing really well. And as I said, it's a pleasure having you on the show.
Thank you for having me.
And Cathy's going to introduce you, and you're going to do a fantastic song for us.
God, I hope so.
Okay. It's my pleasure, folks in audience land, to introduce Paul Marshall. Paul Marshall, If I Had You. If Only I Had You is the name of the song.
I need a cool spot on a hot day, with the work half done and the bills half paid. When the dragonflies hover above the dogs where they lay, I need a cool spot where the redbird sings. And if I had you, I'd have everything. I need a warm bed on a cold night, when the stars above are shining bright and the fields around are still and white. I need a warm bed where I can dream that if I had you, I'd have everything. This worn out hat would be my crown, this old Ford would be our limousine when we ride around. If I had you, I could say I'm king of the world in my own way. I need a long vacation, like a cruise ship tour, endless beaches and distant shores, where the weather is perfect. Who could ask for more? I need a long vacation where the phone don't ring. Then if I had you, I'd have everything. This worn out hat would be my crown, this old Ford would be our limousine when we ride around. If I had you, I could say I'm king of the world in my own way. I need a cool spot on a hot day. I need a long vacation, got to get away. I need a warm bed, oh, and one more thing. If I had you, I'd have everything.
All right.
Hey, I love it. That's real country right there, right?
Oh,
Bring it home, Paul. I love it. You know why? The guitar's tight. The song's tight. It's a real country song. The acoustic guitar holds the whole song with the riffs and the way it plays. Grows
Beautiful.
on you instantly. That is a great song.
Thank you.
And it's If I Had You. I added your word. So, yeah, fantastic, Paul. Now, we know you're a professional guitarist and you've played with a lot of bands. Now, are you touring now, or what?
Well, I actually am, and really, although I do play guitar a lot, mainly for most of my career, I've been a bass player. I started out playing guitar. I switched to bass in about 1974, and I'm playing bass with a band. Well, I play with a lot of people, but I'm playing with a band called Icy Hawks in LA.
Let's have a look at the CD now. Give us the title and where they can buy that CD, Paul.
The title of this Icy Hawks in LA CD is On Our Way. It's our newest CD, and it's our 10th CD, and it's getting a lot of good reviews. And we just finished a little mini tour of Northern California last weekend, and this next weekend we're going out to North Carolina and South Carolina for a few more shows, a big festival and some house concerts and things like that.
Okay. Well, you said we finished the record, so was it a collaboration, Paul?
Well, yes, it was. It was a challenge doing our album during these odd, strange times when we couldn't really record together in the same room. We sent files back and forth to each other, and we recorded it at each of our houses, each of our own little studios, and put it together, and frankly, it sounds pretty good. So I'm happy.
Fantastic.
That's the way to do it, because during this time, we're all moving towards new ways of doing that. And whether you live in the other side of the world, you can still put a song together. That's the great thing about it.
And what a treat that is to be able to do that. Yeah, it's great.
Well, fantastic. Now you've been writing songs since the Mustang Records era.
That's right. Right. I started writing songs when I was, a teenager, and I got my first record deal with Bob Keene's Mustang Records back in 1966. I was still in high school. I was writing songs then, and I kind of thought I knew what I was doing. I'm not sure I did, but eventually along the way I learned more and more, and I've been writing songs ever since. I've had songs cut by artists like Patty Loveless, Highway 101, Juice Newton, and I've had songs in movies and television, and it keeps going on.
Well, fantastic. You've got longevity because you're so talented, Paul.
Either that or I'm very persistent.
Both, maybe, but
kind of too stubborn to quit. I always felt, that the only way I wouldn't get the things I wanted to get accomplished would be if I quit. So I just kept at it, and I'm still doing it. And I'm lucky because the phone keeps ringing. During this pandemic time when we couldn't do any live shows at all, I've actually been as busy or busier than ever because people kept sending me tracks and saying, add bass to this, sing harmony on that. What are you writing? Or they'd say, hey, we still want to record something. Can we come over to your little studio and do it with you? And so I've been very busy, very lucky.
Wow, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Now, Paul, you is this your first band, Strawberry Alarm Clock? Because it was
the Strawberry Alarm Clock was not my first band, but I had been in a couple other bands, and in 1969, one of the bands I was working with, they gave me they said, we don't need you anymore, Paul, because we think you're too country for this band. Oh. So I looked around for something else to do, and within a month or two, I found out that the Strawberry Alarm Clock was looking for a lead singer, and it's very interesting. It was kind of funny how it happened. I was at a party, and I was sitting on a couch next to some guy that I didn't know, and he said, oh, man, I really got a problem. I said, what's the problem? He said, I've got this band, and we have to go on the road, and we've got a tour starting in 2 weeks, and we just lost our lead singer. He said, do you know anybody who sings lead? I went, yeah, I do. So I did an audition a couple nights later, got in the band, and for the next 2 years, I was part of the Strawberry Alarm Clock, toured with them, sang lead, and played guitar with them.
Well, you didn't have a problem doing country or not country, but you know what? When you told me that story when the band said, you got to go, you're a bit country, I would have said, gee, shucks, sorry. I'll just keep moseying along.
Well, and that's right. And there's country music, and I love playing country, but I grew up listening to all kinds of music. And, back when back when I was a kid and we were listening to music on the radio, the top 40 radio, they didn't care about all those designations. Country music crossed over into rock and roll and R&B and Motown. It was all, any station you listened to in LA anyway that played music would play all of that stuff. So I got exposed to it all, I felt like, and then later on when I did find out what country music was all about, I was like, oh, I know this. I've been listening to this all my life. I love it.
But you know the great thing, Paul, I just want to say with songs, I find myself, pop, rock, country, it can all blend together in a song. That's Absolutely. What I do.
Yeah, it can. And you know, here's something funny. Have you ever heard of an artist named, I think his name is Illy? Illy, I think is his name. No? He's an Australian artist. He's an Australian artist who did rap. What's his name? Illy, yeah. Never heard of him?
Not off the top of my head.
Okay. Well, he does a bunch of rap stuff. He ended up using one of the Strawberry Alarm Clock songs that I wrote in a rap song. I didn't even know he did it. And someone heard it and said, hey, this guy used your song as a backdrop, you know, for his rap song.
Wow,
but I got to say something. You know DMC?
Who's that?
They did a song, DMC, and they took Michael Nesmith's Mary, Mary, and he found out about it.
Yeah.
Ka-ching, payday.
Run DMC, yeah. Well, if Illy had been that popular, which I guess it turns out he wasn't, then I would have had an opportunity to get some more, you know, some funds out of it. But that's all right. You know, I was pleased that he went back into the archives and found a song that I had written. That
well, they probably paid a tribute to you. I mean, you can't get a better tribute than that, can you?
Well, that's right. That's right. When somebody does your song, anytime somebody does any of my songs, I'm honored and excited.
That's right.
It's really cool.
Yeah, now you've played with some amazing musicians as well. You've played with Hank Thompson.
Yes.
George Highfield, Mary Kay Place.
Yes.
And some. Do you have any fun stories to tell about when you toured or anything that you could share with us?
Well, an interesting story. It's not a funny story, but an interesting story is that when I was touring with the Alarm Clock, with the Strawberry Alarm Clock, we did a tour of the South, and we played just concert after concert after concert, traveling around. And the promoters had this local band from Jacksonville that they booked to open our shows. And they were just out of high school. We were a couple of years older than that. And they opened the shows for us, and we were like, man, we like this band. These guys are really good. They were a little band called Leonard Skinnard. They just named themselves Leonard Skinnard. And we really liked them. And then a couple of years later, when our band broke up, our guitar player, Ed King, decided that he'd go back down there to Florida or the South and kind of look those guys up. As soon as they found out that he was available, they hired him to join the band. And then he ended up co-writing Sweet Home Alabama.
Oh, my goodness.
It was quite a coup for him. And it was fun for us, too, just to know that, you know, we had that connection.
Wow.
That's an amazing story.
Little things like that.
We're getting texts in. People are saying it's very cool. We had other ones tell us about your performance, which you didn't see. That was great, Paul. Well done, Paul. Isn't that great in these times that you can come out, sing a song, and make people happy? Isn't that what it's all about?
It is what it's all about. It really is. And when you get when you get an audience response, it's something you don't get in the studio, you know. And my current band, I See Hawks in LA, we travel around and we have such a devoted number of fans, you know, and we do pretty well on folk charts and alternative charts too. So, you know, that's good. But the response when people say, man, we love what you do, and you can tell when you're playing that people are responding. It's the best.
Wow, great.
Great when you meet your fans.
Well, another thing that really appeals to me is I've always loved singing harmony. I've always loved singing in choral groups and and groups that, and rock bands and folk bands and country bands that did harmony and really focused on getting, 2, 3, and 4-part harmony really strong. And when I first heard I See Hawks in LA, right after they'd formed the band, that was one of the things that attracted me to them. And the other thing was the fact that they write really, really interesting lyrics that are different from normal. It's a very literate group. When I joined the band, they used to say we'd go through a whole set and we'd do a set of songs, and the word love was not in any of the songs. They might be about love, but the word love was not in any of the songs. It was that sense of trying to go outside of the normal lyric and write something that was interesting, creative. That always appealed to me.
Yeah. Well, you're multi-talented there, Paul, because you started producing in the 70s, right? And you did a re-recording of the classic My Happiness.
Whether skies are gray or blue, any place on earth will do, just as long as I'm with you. My happiness. So that song was originally written by and recorded by this group called John and Sandra Steele. They were a husband and wife duo, and they did it in the mid-50s. And Elvis liked the song so much that when he went in to Sam Phillips' studio, Sun Studios, to do his first recordings, this is something he went in to do for his mom. Yeah. And that was one of the songs he did. That was the first song he sang and recorded for his mother. And then Connie Francis, I think, had a big hit on it. And I had the opportunity to re-record it with John and Sandra Steele, the people who'd written it and made the first hit on it. And it was really fun, a real pleasure. We did it at a cool studio in Hollywood. We had great players on it, and it came out really good. And that was quite a treat.
Paul, can I ask you, do you know the song? I bet you do, I Fall to Pieces?
Sure.
Can you play that for us, please? A bit.
I fall to pieces each time I see you again. I fall to pieces. How can I be just your friend? You want me to act like we've never kissed. You want me to forget, pretend we've never met. And I try, but I haven't yet. You walk by and I fall to pieces.
That was great.
Thank you. That was a huge hit for Patsy Cline. And I guess most of us kind of think of it as a woman's song because it was done by Patsy, and it's one of the songs that, all the female singers learn. And, when I played for years, in clubs and for talent shows, and every girl singer who got up had to do I Fall to Pieces and Walking After Midnight, and Crazy songs.
Exactly. Paul, I've got a question for you here, right?
I'm sorry, what's that?
I've got a question for you. Someone's written a text there. You can see it there. Do you love the Eagles' music? A lot of great harmony. What do you think of that?
I think the Eagles are a fantastic band. We're a great band, and their harmony was one of the wonderful things about that band. I mean, whether they were doing the kind of country rock that they started with, or the more rock stuff they later got into. Individually, amazing singers. Don Henley, Glenn Frey, all the singers in that band were top-notch singers, and then together, I mean, it's unbelievable. They were amazing singers. Yeah, so I love the band. Great songs too, like Desperado, why don't you come to your senses? You've been out riding fences so long. Oh, you're a hard one, but I know you got your reasons. These things that are pleasing you will hurt you somehow. Good stuff.
Now, I just got to say, because you mentioned now the Eagles, I got to say, Linda Ronstadt doing not Mike Nesmith's song, Different Drum. To me, that is a great song. You know it?
Yeah. I don't know that one to sing, but
that's a great song.
And
Linda Ronstadt is great too.
She did a great version of
Take It Easy. No, what is it? The one
she did a great version of I don't want your lonely mansion with a tear in every room. All I want's the love you promised. Give me the halo moon. Silver Threads and Golden Needles.
Yeah.
And I ended up doing a 45 single of Silver Threads and Golden Needles when I was re-signed with Bob Keane right after the Alarm Clock broke up. And I had Ed King, Lee Freeman, and Gene Gunnels from the Strawberry Alarm Clock play on it. So it was kind of the Strawberry Alarm Clock doing Silver Threads and Golden Needles. And another interesting story is to show you how things go around. I ended up working with Wanda Jackson for the last 10 years or so. And she was actually the very first one to record Silver Threads and Golden Needles.
Oh, wow.
So,
can you just play a little bit of a Wanda song for us?
Well, one of Wanda's big hits was, let me see here. She did Fujiyama Mama, which was a big hit in Japan. She did.
What's her most well-known song?
Let me see here. I should look at my Wanda Jackson set list. Good hard-headed woman, one-headed man. Just it's rockabilly stuff.
Yeah, I love rockabilly. That's what I said.
She toured with Elvis. She was billed as kind of the female Elvis when she got started, but she had hits in rockabilly. Later on, she was produced by Jack White, of the White Stripes.
Yeah,
she had quite a career, and just recently, just in the last few years, she finally decided to retire from touring. But she just recorded a new song with Joan Jett. So that's how vital and vibrant and exciting she is. And playing with her was really something, because you talk about fans and fan appreciation. When Wanda got on stage, the crowd went wild. And
but I got to say, that song, Let's Have a Party. That's the big one. Let's Have a Party. Yes. Can I hear a bit of that?
Let's see if I can remember that one. Let's rock some more, let's have a party tonight.
That's the one.
I don't really know the words, I just played the song. I played bass for it. Let's have a party. Let's have a party. Let's take it to the floor. Let's rock some more. Let's have a party tonight.
I love it how you can recall the songs.
Oh,
we're having a ball here, seriously. Just even talking about these songs and you playing a little bit of the songs. It's like that country hootenanny show,
Well,
TV, bringing it back.
Plastic and Cathy, I'm glad you guys are asking me to sing these songs. It's a memory test because, it's funny.
I'm having a ball. I'm having a ball because you know what? You know how to play it because you're such a great musician that it's in your memory bank and you got it there and you recall. Talking Wanda Jackson, you're talking huge.
Dolly Parton, you're talking huge, right? You know, I don't want to get into it too much, but I've written a lot of country songs myself, right? And the love of country music that I got, it's unbelievable. And Cathy knows. I love writing pop. I love writing rock. But I love writing country music.
Well, I'm so glad to hear that. I'd love to hear what you've done, Plastic. That would be a real treat.
Really cool, Paul. Now, I noticed as a songwriter, Paul,
Yeah.
101, they cut your song Someone Believed.
Yes, they did.
Newton cut it too. Is that true? Someone Believed? It says so on your bio.
It was cut by Highway 101 and it was cut by Juice Newton.
Mm-hmm.
And I think neither one of them were very happy that the other one cut it at the time because they both cut it at the same time. But I love both versions, and I like the demo version that we did of it too. It was really great to get that kind of coverage on a song with two major label artists both wanting to cut it at the same time. And they, like I say, they both did a good job.
Wow, great, terrific.
It was the big ballad on Highway 101's first album, which went gold, which was nice. It went gold in the US and in Canada. So I finally got some gold records on the wall.
Well, can I ask you who the biggest influences are to you? I'm just saying, for me, when it comes to country, Mike Nesmith was a pioneer, because you got to understand, I'm a different age group. 1967, the Monkees are it for me. So here's Mike Nesmith doing country rock before anybody, right? Papa Jean's Blues, Sweet Young Thing. So for me, he was one of the biggest influences, and he opened the door to country. And after he split from the Monkees and he did the first national band, the song that I really love, right, is Joanne. You know that one? Her name was Joanne.
Sure. Her name was Joanne, and she lived in a meadow.
That's the song, and she lived in a meadow by a pond. That's a song, but also he did.
Her name was Joanne, and she lived in a meadow by a pond.
It's coming back to you, but also Silver Moon.
I don't know Silver Moon.
Yeah, he did another one, Silver Moon. But what I'm trying to say is the country songs register in your head, the ones that count.
Yeah.
And I mean, country music is like it reinvents itself all the time. And these new bands that are coming out with their own individual sounds in the United States, for example, you come from Alabama, you got a sound. You come from somewhere else, you got a different sound. That's what's so unique about country music. Where you come from, you can invent your own country sound.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you asked me though, who were, some influences at the start.
Yeah.
Mike Nesmith was one. A band called Hearts and Flowers were a really big influence. They did kind of psychedelic folk in a way, but they also covered Merle Haggard songs. And that was for me, a good example of how you can put country and rock together. And then Poco, right?
I've heard of him.
Oh yeah, Poco, and then on to bands like the Eagles. So they were all very formative. But for me, my main influences vocally, I wish I could sing like them, were Merle Haggard, Sam Cooke, and Toots Hibbert from Toots and the Maytals. These are singers who are all different singers, but they all managed to get within their own genre just an exciting, soulful, believable sound that was, conveyed a lot of emotion while singing just great. And then,
do you know which song knocked me out when it came out?
What's that?
This country song came out, knocked me out. I remember when it was released in Australia. Charlie Pride, Mountain of Love. That song just blew me out of the water.
Charlie Pride, he covered Mountain of Love. Yeah.
That's one of the greatest versions I've ever heard.
It's a great version. We already knew it as a Johnny Rivers song, but I don't think even Johnny Rivers was the first one to do that one. Mountain mountain of love, a mountain of love. You should be ashamed. We used to be a mountain of love. You just changed your name. Yeah, great song.
Oh, man, I love it. I love it here pulling these notes and everything out of the sky. Now, listen, before we go,
Yeah.
Cathy will ask you a final question, but I just want to ask you, I want you to tell everybody now your links and where they can find all your music, find out all about you. You're obviously on every platform out there. Just tell everybody where you are on the net.
You know, a lot of my music is on a lot of different platforms, but the place to find me is at paulmarshall.net, www.paulmarshall.net. And then I try to keep my calendar updated, and I try to keep it up as far as letting people know what I've been doing, where they can see me, what albums have been released, what new music is coming out, stuff like that. And anytime you search for Paul Marshall, you know, you're probably going to find me. There are a lot of other Paul Marshalls out there, but you don't have to look very far to find me.
Well, there's only one Paul Marshall there, this country and Western. Cathy, if you've got a final question and you want to wrap up the show, go for it.
I mean, basically, is there anyone that you can thank as far as, you know, mentoring you when you were growing up, or your parents, relatives, friends? I mean, did people tell you you have a good voice? Go for it.
I'll tell you what people told me. I was singing. In college, I took a vocal class, a class in voice and song, and we studied like, you know, Italian and German art songs, right? I did my final, which was a vocal performance, and the teacher said, you don't have the greatest voice, but you deliver a song with honesty, and if anybody in this class is going to go anywhere, it's going to be you. So I thank her. I don't remember what her name was, but I appreciated that, and that stuck with me.
Well, when you get a Grammy, we'll have to go find her.
Well, that would be great. That would be, you know, if she's still around, that would be something too.
Well,
if you get a Grammy, keep your friends in mind, because we're your friend. Now, Cathy, I just want to say this has been a fantastic show. Don't go, Paul. I want to thank everybody out there. It's been fantastic for me, for Cathy Cece Carlson, and for Paul Marshall. We want to thank you from the bottom of our hearts. It's these kind of shows that I love, where you come out, you entertain, you give people happiness instead of doom and gloom that's out there, and that's the kind of show that starts off my day.
I'm here to have a good time. Thank you guys so much for having me. Thank you, Plastic. Thank you, Cathy.
It's been a pleasure. Stay there for a minute, Paul. That was great.
All right. Cool.
See everybody out there in country and Western land.